I started drinking when I was 13. I started doing drugs when I was 14. By the time I was 18, I was overseas in the Marine Corps and I had graduated into some pretty nasty stuff. At 20, I moved to California after I got out of the service to get away from myself, but unfortunately I was still there. And after spending 2 years in prison for attempted vehicular homicide in a drunken, drug-fueled rage, I got out of prison to find out that I was no longer married, and I moved back to Cleveland. When I moved back to Cleveland, I met my current wife, and my drug use subsided quite a bit, but my alcoholism never did. There was a lot of rage, there was a lot of frustration, there was a lot of anger, there was a lot of bitterness, there were a lot of feelings that I just can't explain or I can never put into words. I had 3 DUIs in an 18-month period. The last year of my abuse, I was in and out of detox centers 6 times that year, and I was also in 4 treatment programs that I remember. The last drink I ever had, I blacked out riding a motorcycle, and I broke my leg in 6 places, some other bones, some road rash. I woke up in the hospital to my wife standing over the bed saying, you know, I'm leaving you. And I was really hurt. I was extremely hurt. There went my kids, there went my wife, there went everything I thought I ever wanted. And all this time, all I ever wanted was to feel love, to be able to receive love, to be able to give love. And it just, I could never find it. I was always searching for something. A judge in Lakewood, when I went to court, gave me the option of doing 30 days in a treatment center or just doing another year in prison and calling it even. So I took the 30 days in jail and took the 30 days at the treatment center. It was a no-brainer. I did go to AA for a while, although I never worked the program and it didn't work for me, and I just couldn't understand what it was that these people were so happy about. It just wasn't me. So I kind of drifted out of the program. But about 6 months before my accident, I ran into a girl in a parking lot at a 7-Eleven. I was hurrying to try and get in there and get a 6-pack before they closed. And she said, obviously the program's not working for you. I haven't seen you in a while. Where have you been? So I proceeded to explain to her my rage and my hatred. She said, do you pray? And I said, you know, being a man, you know, of course I pray. Yes, I pray. And she said, well, how do you pray? And I said, well, when I go to sleep at nighttime, I talk to God, and, you know, and then I fall asleep. And she said, maybe you should try kneeling down and praying. Let go of some of that machoism. Well, I'm an ex-Marine and I've always tried to find my own way, and I'm not kneeling down to anybody or anything. So going forward again, so now I'm in a rehab center and I'm cold and I'm lonely and I'm scared, I'm confused and I'm bitter. And for whatever reason, to this day, I don't know, I decided I was going to kneel down and I was going to pray to this God that everybody keeps talking about. And I'm surprised I didn't get hit by lightning, because I knelt down and I started swearing. And if you're all that, and if you're all powerful, and if you're so big and you're so bad, you can do this, then take this away from me. And I kept saying over and over and over again, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? Somebody in the room said, bring my children back to me. And I jumped. I jumped straight up and I spun around, and there was nobody in the room but me. And I was warm, and I was different, and I felt it, and I was at peace. And I walked out of that room, and I have never looked back on it. I have been sober and clean for 14 years. And I understand addictions, and I understand mental issues, and I understand loneliness, and I understand rage and bitterness, and I understand what it's like to walk down the street and have people not make eye contact with you. And I understand what it's like to be out in the cold and have absolutely nowhere to go, because every relationship you've ever had, you've burned. And I understand what it's like to call home in the middle of the night and say, I'm sorry, I'm ready to come home, and have someone hang up on you. But there is a God out there that is willing, that wants to, that will lift you out of your situation. If this God that I didn't know would do this for me, imagine what he would do for you. And it's our duty and it's our responsibility as Christians to go out there and reach these people that are lost, that have no concept, that have no inkling that there's a God out there that loves them, that wants to save them, that will save them. What we can do is we can interact with these people and we can let them know that we love them. They're human beings. They are created in God's image just like you are and just like I were. Just because of their situation, just because of their circumstance, just because of their frame, their mental frame, just because of their physical hygiene or being, doesn't mean they're less of a person. And a lot of times what it takes for somebody to come around is another person to be able to hug that person or to stand next to them and say, you know what, brother, I've been there, I've gone through this, look at me, I'm happy. And you can be happy too. If you can go there and you can interact and you can make contact with that person and you can show them that their condition doesn't scare me. I can look you in the eye and I can talk to you and I want to know your story and I want to know about you and I want to know how you got here, because then I'm going to tell you how you can get out of here.